O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. Bojangles famous chicken and biscuits. WORX Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Swaggerty Sausage, the finest premium pork sausage products. TUFF Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings.
Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait.
Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs for the outdoorsman. Terminator, the best food plot implements on Earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia mountains, O'Neill Outside presents CVA Radio. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Good morning, boys and girls, from Sassafras Mountain in North Georgia and the Bojangles studio. This is O'Neill Outside presenting to you CVA Radio, Real Tree Radio. A lot of radio at 6 minutes after the hour. Welcome to the program, everyone. We've got a busy morning. I hope you'll join us. Telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta area and across the country at 800-972-8255. You can listen at 95.5 FM WSB and 750 on your AM dial, plus the Sports Map Radio Network from Maine to Los Angeles, from Seattle to Miami, and I almost got that mixed up. But welcome to the program. Shameless self-promotion coming up right now, and then we'll get to some outdoors for the next 2 hours. This program is brought to you every Saturday morning by WORX Tools, TUFF Shed, Stripling's General Store, Snellville Heating and Air, Rocco's, CVA Muzzleloaders, Gin Spring Power. Those are generators, and you'll love those. And Swaggerty's and Mark Hurd Fuel. So no sponsors, no show. I don't get up do this. Well, yeah, I do. I do it for nothing. Welcome to the program, everyone. If you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you do that. So it's my recommendation, too. You got to suffer through this for you to watch O'Neill Outside Television. Oh, yeah. On Fox Sports Southeast, Fox Sports Sun, Fox Sports Arizona. And then the VOD networks, the Hunt Channel, Carbon TV, oh my goodness, the Waypoint TV, Gen 7 TVs, the Samsung Smart TV, YouTube TV, and then the podcast. You know that 60 million people listen to radio podcast every week? Unbelievable. Twitter, Waypoint, Apple, Google, Apple's Media, SoundCloud, and Spotify. All O'Neill Outside Podcast. Listen, we'll get to the meat of the program after this break. This is O'Neill, and we'll be back, I promise. I hope. I'm threatening. 12 after the hour. Let me give you the telephone numbers. Love for you to join the show. 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. And mention also that this show is televised on Facebook and a whole array of origins for you to watch during the week. I know you're just dying to see a camera on O'Neill for 2 hours. So there you are. We will have the radio prize package, the WORX Axis Drill, Axis Saw prize question later in the program, the Medal of Honor tribute in the second hour, and, of course, your call. So at 12 after the hour, let's go ahead and jump in here and talk to John. We'll get John up there on the screen. John's calling from Lilburn. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You're on the air. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very well.
Good. I just wanted to tell you, if I could, actually it's two stories in one.
Okay.
One's about love and family, and one's about good deer management. my cousin has got some property, and it's been in the family for years. They had to sell part of it, and it's been about 6 or 8 years ago. It went into escrow, and they said they were just told it's not there, so don't hunt on it.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And so his son is a big dove hunter, so he's always kept up a couple of good fields. And he's been seeing deer down there all this time, and he finally approached them, and they said, well, it's an escrow, so we don't care what you do. So it's been at least 8 years since they've hunted that property down there. And let me say, they've always taken, decent-sized bucks out of there.
Okay.
Little 6-pointers, things like that. Well, all this time, there's been no, there's been no disturbance from humans.
Mm-hmm.
And so they decided they would go down there when the rut started this year. And him and his brother, my other cousin, and a friend, and in 1 week, in 1 week they took 6 of the biggest bucks I've seen in the state of Georgia, because they've been totally left alone. They've had plenty to eat,
mm-hmm.
and they just watched them. But the thing is, I said, you know what? And if I could shout out his name, Mark. I said, Mark, you know what? You taking some of the big bucks down there. I bet there's some big fat does that would like to come home to somebody.
Oh, certainly.
And he said, let me go harvest. Yeah, he said, let me, in the proper terms, let me go harvest you a few does tomorrow for you and your brother. Because he's got, 10 tags. So he's out there, and I want to wish him luck, and God bless him this morning for going out there and get a couple of poor old country boys some venison to eat for Christmas time, because I sure do like it. And
Oh,
we
yes.
can't get out there anymore.
Oh, yes.
I just thought that was wonderful. He's doing that, but it's, good deer management. I've had people that tell me, "Oh, we don't shoot anything smaller than a 6," and I thought, well, that's hard to do. But I see why now. Those were some huge deer on there. They were in middle Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Well,
of all things.
They were allowed to grow. No one hunted the property, you said, for 8 years?
6 or 8 years, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you are. They got old enough, got bigger.
Big, and no one was bothering them, and they were eating lots of acorns, and they were eating off the dove field and everything else. And boy, they got. I mean, and I'd like to send them to your your email or
yes.
whatever, because they are really pretty. And so if you could give me that, I'll send it on, whether it's your text or email, whatever you go by, that you'll have someone look at or you look at.
They
are sure pretty. And
we will. Before the call is finished, I'll put you on hold, and
okay.
the guys there will give you my email address. That'll be good. Well, that's a good story and a good demonstration of allowing the deer to live longer. And they will get bigger. They're only going to get as big as they genetically can get. A Georgia deer is not going to be as big as a Wisconsin deer.
No. But they were just as pretty as any deer you'd like to shoot and bring home. And you can guarantee every one of those skulls was bleached out later on. They go on the wall, because they are pretty. But I just wanted to share that with you. Just that, a good family and good deer management kind of go hand in hand.
Oh, absolutely.
But I wanted to share that with you.
It's proven over and over and over again that if you let them live, they will naturally get bigger. I suggest that if you're managing property, the 4.5 or 5.5 year old bucks are the object. In the wild, I understand that the white-tailed deer rarely lives beyond about 8 years old.
Right.
In captivity, they will live, I think, understand some of these deer in Texas, where you can see in Texas you can own the deer.
Oh,
you can farm raise white-tailed deer in Texas. In Georgia, the deer belong to the state. so they're up for grabs. But some of these Texas deer, I understand, some of them will live 14, 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of hard to shoot your pet, though, wouldn't it?
Pardon?
It'd be hard to shoot your pet if you'd had a deer around for 10, 12 years. Yeah, you'd get where you name them.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're pets. And most of them are, in those cases where they are owned, they are grown and bred and sold to other people in the state to replenish their land or to put a great big deer on their property and so on.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, that's a pretty good idea.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They grow some giants. It's a Texas deer, and Texas deer genetically are small deer. They're thin with real long legs, but so to dissipate the heat. But they have big antlers.
They have big racks.
Big racks.
That goes right. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Glad you called. Glad you called, John. You bet. There we go. And we'll drop that. There we go. So 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. It's almost 20 after. I've got to wait to get to before I call Don in Ocean Isle in a moment. But I want to pose a question for you. You know, the deer season is about to end in Georgia and neighboring states, with the exception of Alabama, because the Alabama season is in January, and there's whole long reasons. We've discussed that on many, many occasions. But the hunting season is not over. When the deer season ends in January, hunting season is not over. You've got a full 5 or 6 weeks left. How so? Squirrel season, and then quail season begin. We've got so many ways to hunt, to spend time in the woods with your children or your grandchildren or your buddies, in which, quite frankly, and a lot of people don't like for me to say this, I think the sitting in a stand is a bore to especially indoctrinate someone into deer hunting. Deer hunting is boring. You just sit there. Now, the hunt part, that location and all of those things and preparation for the hunt, that's a different story. That is a hunt. But to just sit and pull the trigger, that's why squirrel, quail, possum, raccoons, all kinds of other things that you can hunt really can be fun, or more fun, more active, more conversational, and more productive, with more shooting and more shots and so many more things than just deer hunting. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying the thing for you to think about and planning after the deer season ends. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, all across the country. Real Tree and CVA Radio, right here, 2 hours every Saturday morning. And, not a surprise, I'll be back. 25 after the hour. Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to O'Neill Outside and Real Tree Radio, and we welcome your calls and your questions and your observations. And what I want to talk, get to the call in a moment, but what I'd like to be able for you to think about and respond to is the following. What do you have planned for this year? What special place, if any, are you going to hunt or to fish? It won't happen unless you plan it. And get your buddies together, get your children, your grandchildren together, and make a real special trip in 2021. I've got some great suggestions, but you pick out what you want. Take a lot of photos, and it'll last a lifetime. Right now, let's talk to Don. He's calling from
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
You're the greatest, man. How's fishing this time of year in Ocean Isle?
Well, I wish I could say it's great, but you know, with the virus that's going on and all the people I fish with are old, it's hard. The social distance with on a 8 by 10 foot, 28-foot boat. So
yes, it is.
It's been sparse, and I would, O'Neill, I guess I'd compare. I didn't have deer around when I was a kid hunting, but I'd compare deer hunting, I guess, with king fishing.
Mm-hmm.
It's boredom followed by 10 minutes of pandemonium, So.
That's exactly right. By way of information, Don, correct me if I'm wrong, Don, you grew up and your business life was close to Atlanta, was it not?
I grew up in Gainesville, right next to the Chattahoochee River before the lake was put in, and I hunted 4,000 acres along the river, and I was in the glass business, or the aluminum door manufacturing in Atlanta, Georgia. So we distributed throughout the Southeast. But I do have a big side yard, and I got a deer feeder there, and I feed the deer, and I get to watch them while I'm riding the bike in the morning. So,
well, that's good. It is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I'm not putting anyone down for pulling the trigger because I've done it plenty of times. But once you pull the trigger, the hunt's over.
Yeah, that's right. And I enjoy watching. I got some that come in every morning, and then when it gets all the vegetation goes away, then they get more prevalent because the ones from that's not feeding there, they come in later, so I have to add more corn.
Oh yeah, there you are. Well, it's nice to see that going on over there. Now, over there in on the coast, that that deer a similar size to what you're used to in the South?
They're small deer over here.
They're smaller? Okay.
Yeah, and they're allowed to hunt them with dogs, and whenever that happens, they push a bunch of the deer that's inland onto the coast, and they swim the inland waterway and go on the island. There are hundreds of deer on the island when the hunting season comes in.
Very interesting. That's very interesting. They're
and I guess you know where Ross is. Their hunting season's Alabama, and he's in the Alabama this morning because the season's still open. Just the rut's just coming in over there.
Right. Yeah, just getting started. Good. Just on the verge of getting started, I guess. How long does the season in Alabama last? Do you know?
I think it's. I'm not really sure, but I think it's about the end of February or into February.
Yeah, end of February. Sure. They have a longer, and we've discussed the reasons why the rut is late, if you will, in Alabama. Well, that's good. I need to hear from Ross from time to time. I bet he's on the way to the woods now.
A couple of years ago, we had a big trout season over here, and we're hoping for that again. I hope to do some of that. But as far as running offshore until they get the vaccine in place, then I guess we'll lay low. So. That's
right. Well, we'll get through it. We always do, right?
Yeah, we do. We've been through worse, and we'll get through this. And where I'm gonna fish next year, what I hope I'll fish next year is in the ocean. So
there you are. All right, my good friend. I'm glad you called. It's always good to hear your voice, and you have a great weekend and a great Christmas if I don't talk to you.
Thank you, sir. You and Gail do the same.
You bet. I'll see you soon, my friend. There we go. And now let's see here. There we go. See if I can drop that call. Who's up next? The next is, hey, Roadster's calling here at 30 minutes after the hour. Good morning, Roadster. What do you say?
Good morning and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to you and the Queen.
Thank you very much. You're very kind. And back to you.
As a young man, you and I are about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to hunt the Great Spaghetti.
The Great Spaghetti. I don't know what that is, Roadster.
Well, it's in Doraville. It's called the Spaghetti Junction.
Oh, Spaghetti. Oh, there. Okay. Yeah, boy, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I told you I was old.
Yeah.
We had 4 great coveys of quail in that area. We're talking about Towers Liquor Store, which you and I know very well, and all the way to Beaufort Highway to the railroad tracks. That was all, would you believe, farmland?
Yes, it was.
And it was great hunting. And we had doves out to Yazoo. We had 4 and 5 coveys of quail. And of course, we didn't have any dogs. I was hunting a Mossy 100 bolt-action shotgun, which is the best beginner gun that you could ever give your children.
Okay.
It's a great gun. It's a great gun, and we would actually walk up and shoot great coveys of quail in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't know what a great reserve of game that was right there in Doraville.
Oh yes.
And we could actually walk down the street with these guns, and the police would wave at us, and that close to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to bring that to you and let you know that we love you, and we're always thinking about you.
Well, you're very appreciative. One of the things I remember that right after I graduated from college was in 1965, and I can remember there used to be an apartment house on Peachtree Road, north of almost to Buckhead. It was gosh, I had the name of it, the Darlington. And they had a sign out in front of the Darlington, and I remember the day I was riding along there, I was working, that the population sign of Atlanta passed 1 million.
Right. Do you remember of course, the Far Road Library Club and the Brave Falcon, and that was when Atlanta was Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we had such a great time. But what I was trying to bring out, that we had such great hunting and fishing just right outside the borders of DeKalb County. And you're talking about your fishing, did you ever fish that fishing off of Beaver Ruin, that lake off of Beaver Ruin?
No, I never did, but I know where you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? That's one of those, like the kind of fishing that you did. Pay for play. Or
right.
Like
yeah,
that.
$1 a day.
Yeah. But I didn't have enough sense to seed it like you did. I wish I had. But I tell you, buddy, I appreciate what you do, and I hope that I'll get up to Sassafras sometime. I'm looking forward to getting up there, and when things get rough.
Yeah, if
you know what I'm talking about.
I do indeed, and Sassafras Mountain is a beautiful place. All right, I got to go, pal. 34 minutes after the hour. We'll catch you soon. All right, mighty fine. Let's see. Milton's up there. I don't think I'll talk to Milton right now. I'm gonna chat now on another subject. Get Milton to hold through the break if he can, because I want you to plan a trip. I want you to go someplace. I mean, if it's not but 50 miles, I want you to plan a trip for this year. We have such a vast population of wildlife all around from Atlanta and all over the country. I mean, there's no country on earth that with the Department of Natural Resources and the tax structure that garners all these monies for wildlife and game management, it's something that you should avail yourself of. And I want you to plan a trip. I want you to go to the Gulf Coast, go to Florida, I'll tell you what, one of the things that a lot of people are missing if you're a fisherman is tarpon fishing on the Georgia coast. The hot summertime, I mean, you're not going to be fishing with a fly, but you can fish with cut bait and live bait on the flats out of Brunswick and St. Simons, and really get into some huge tarpon and trout and redfish in the fall. Anyway, trips don't happen unless you plan them. So I'm encouraging you to make some plans now for 2021 with some wonderful trips that you and your family can enjoy and build memories in the outdoors. They last longer than any other place, believe me. Memories in the outdoors. And now that everyone has a cell phone, everybody has a built-in camera. Fill it up with photos. I'll be right back after this, and we'll talk to Milton, I promise. 40 minutes after the hour, this is O'Neill with Real Tree Radio, and we've been holding on and looking forward to this. Let's talk now to Milton Crabapple. Good morning, Milton.
O'Neill?
Yes, sir.
Milton Crabapple.
Okay, Milton. What's going on
How
with
you
you,
doing
sir?
this morning?
I'm doing just fine. Really spry. I slept for 3 hours last night, and it was wonderful.
Well, that's good. That's good. I slept about 4 myself.
Okay. Good for you.
You know, I want to wish everybody listening, before I forget it, a Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season this year.
Well, thank
It's
you.
always a privilege to be able to communicate with folks on your show.
Well, thank you. You're very kind.
Really enjoyed. You know, another thing that I want to remind everybody of this holiday season, it won't be long till we won't have to watch any more of them darn political ads.
Oh, man, aren't we sick of those?
You know, if liars' pants really did catch on fire, they'd be a lot more fun to watch.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's we've been through it, hadn't we?
We sure have, and beats all I ever seen.
Oh boy, how's your deer season going?
Well, it's going good. Got a nice doe, a nice, good-sized doe. Got it all in the freezer. You know, you mentioned something a while ago that I disagree with you a little bit on.
All right.
You said that once you pull the trigger, the hunt's over.
Well, I thought about that when I said it. The hunt's not over until the venison is cooked, right?
That's true. You know, I enjoy bringing that field dressing the deer and then bringing it home and aging it. I age it on ice, quarter it up, and age it in a cooler on ice for about 12 days, 10 or 12 days.
Okay.
That makes all the difference in the world now, that aging.
Yes, indeed.
And then I take it in and I separate it all and make my cuts and package it up just exactly the way I want it. And then when you sit down and eat it, you know, you really feel a lot of reward there, because that's half of the fun to me. Hunting and killing the deer is one half of the fun, but then bringing it home and processing it and everything is the other half of the fun.
Well, that's what, and you and I have talked about this before, that we encourage men and fathers who are getting their sons or daughters or grandsons involved in hunting, whether it's quail, deer, whatever, to fulfill the hunt all the way to the dinner table.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And, you know, you mentioned the small game, too. I'm not much of a believer in putting somebody in a stand and with a high-powered rifle that they ain't even big enough to pick up, much less anything else. And you know, I was watching a TV show the other day, and a 6-year-old kid killed a deer with a big high-powered rifle. And I'll bet you 2 bushels of sweet potatoes that kid don't even own a BB gun.
No, probably not.
That just, you know, when my son was coming along and wanting to go deer hunting, I said, well, you got your BB gun, your pellet rifle, and he had a little bow and arrow, you know. I said, and then he could roam through the woods around there. I said, I'll tell you what, you can go deer hunting when you've killed 20 squirrels.
Yes.
And I said, now you get out there and get after them.
That's a good qualification.
You know, he's got a walking stick. We go camping. We used to go camping a lot when we deer hunted and squirrel hunted too. And we'd make a walking stick to keep as a keepsake. And he had a walking stick, and every time to kill a squirrel, take the end of a coat hanger and heat it up on the stove and burn a little notch in that walking stick. And I found it and give it to him here a while back. That is got 20 notches burned into it.
What a terrific memento! What a terrific collection piece.
So when he went deer hunting the first time, Well, I just took him out and put him on a stool out in the woods and left. And I said, I'll be back in 2 or 3 hours and check on you. And he had a 30-30 rifle, but I said, just like squirrel hunting. And he got his first deer sitting out there by himself in the woods, and he was in charge.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, you, so people will know, Milton, you don't hunt out of a stand, do you, for deer?
Well, I hunt out of a stand that's about 6 inches off of the ground.
Okay.
I got me a nice stool. I hunt in the thick places. And usually if I get a shot at a deer, it's about 25 yards away at the most. But I just enjoy being in them thickets. You see, lots of folks get out and they get in a darn house with a heater and a radio and everything else in there, and they're just watching a big food plot. And that ain't, to me, that's just harvesting a deer.
That's right. That's shooting. That's
deer harvesting, yeah. But now I'll tell you something. You get out there in them woods and you crawl around, you find a good place where them deer are sneaking around, and you get up, you build you a little brush pile, and you get up in there and you hunt. You see things in them thickets and in them woods that you ain't never going to see out in them fields.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't know what you're lurking out in there in them woods, and when you get down on the floor level with the deer, and you have deer sometimes walk within 6 feet of you that don't never see you. And I'm telling you something, you can see their eyelashes.
Well,
that's exciting to me. But I'm a meat hunter too, O'Neill. And I like them young deer a whole lot better to eat than them great big deer are.
I agree 100%.
When you go in the store and you buy a prime rib steak, it didn't come from an 8.5-year-old cow.
No.
That's what your boots came from.
That's right. Hey, on another subject, because I've had several people ask me about it this week, about how you use a bee smoker.
Yes, sir.
To negate the scent in your clothing. Why does that work so well? Tell my audience.
Well, because deer don't associate smoke with human beings. Now, deer, they got a nose. Some folks say that they can smell 10,000 times better than a human being can. And, there's smoke blowing all over the countryside, and especially in the wintertime. People building smoke in the fireplace, and that stuff steaming out of there like a steam engine. Deer can smell that from miles away.
Yes.
And so smoke is just something that deer smell out there. I don't think they actually know where it comes from, but if there's a fire in the woods or some kind of campfire out there, well, they can smell that smoke and them ashes for months coming from that stuff. And it's just always there, and they don't associate it with people.
And you told me not long ago on one of your hunts this year about how close some deer got to you.
Well, now I'll tell you, so far this year, sitting on my little stool where I sit there on my stand, I've seen 7 deer so far, and 6 of them come from directly downwind and walked right up the trail from behind me and come within about 8 or 10 yards of me. Now, you could tell that they could smell that smoke because they was looking for it.
Okay.
But they didn't know what it was and wondering, like, well, I wonder what... They got a look on their face like, well, I wonder what that smokes are doing up in here.
That's right. And they'll raise their nose in the air, too, won't they?
Raise it up and look around, but once they get past you and get upwind of you, you can tell that they lost the scent of it, and they just go back to what they was doing.
I see. That's just as exciting to me as pulling the trigger.
It is, and you take that bee smoker, and you want to use pine straw in it. That's
okay.
What you want to use, not oak leaves and stuff, because pine straw burns good. Once you get it in there, it really burns good because you got all that pine sap in there. It's a good smelling smoke, and you can just smoke yourself up and smoke your clothes. I wash my clothes, O'Neill, in that scent-free, scent remover
Yes.
washing soap.
Mm-hmm.
Then I hang them and let them dry, and then I put them in a plastic bag, big garbage bag, and then I puff smoke up in there with them, and then tie them up and shut them up. So they stay in that smoke all week long.
I see.
They're smoked up, and then when I get out there and get ready to go in the woods, I can fire that thing up, and we just smoke ourselves up inside the caps and under the clothes and everything else. Smoke my gun up and everything else, and they can't. They just now I've read that the scientists say that smoke also kills the bacteria that produce the odors.
That's what I've heard.
You know, that bacteria feeds on your sweat and everything, and then the byproduct is that odor, that human odor. So I'll tell you something.
Well, that's...
My crabapple said one day, I need to take a shower. She said, you've been out there working. She said, you need to go take a shower. I said, well, I'll just smoke myself up. She said, no, don't do that.
There you go. Well, that's a good lesson for the audience, Milton, and I really do appreciate that because take a guess for us. How many times in your life have you gone deer hunting?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you, O'Neill. I've been deer hunting for 55 years, and I don't reckon I've missed maybe a season. But I ain't no telling how many times I've been deer hunting.
That's right. Well, same here.
Ain't no telling how many times I've sat up in a tree with an old field jacket on and a pair of leather bird hunting boots on and a pair of earmuffs on, and it'd be 32 degrees, and I was sitting up there shaking so hard that the pine cones was falling out of the tree.
Oh, boy. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, Milton. We always learn something, and I thank you.
Stop by the jail, O'Neill.
I will do that, too, my good friend.
Finish that checker game.
Yeah, all right. I will see you soon. There we are. It's 51 after the hour. We've got time now. Let's give away the radio prize package quickly. Radio prize package consists of a Bojangles gift card, Swaggerty sausage coupon, DNR rigs, Big Green Egg grill lighter, Arctic Ice Pack, Angler Magazine, Georgia State Parks Guide, a can of Fisher's Choice baits, a Hydro Shot glass. You have to be 18 years old, and you cannot have won the radio prize package in the last 6 months. And here is the question, and you know the telephone numbers. The question is, Gail and I live on a particular mountain in North Georgia. What is the name of the mountain on which we live here in North Georgia? And we've been living here quite a few years now. So 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255 for you to participate in the radio prize package. And we hope that you do. And two, I have time to tell you that I'm not trying to direct attention with my questions to me or Gail or to us. I ask these questions about us because it's not just trivia. It's questions that no one will know the answer to unless you listen to the show. It's a reward. If you're a trucker, if you're on the way to the woods, you're on the way to the lake, then you'll have an opportunity to know this if you've listened to the show. And today's question is, we live in the mountains in North Georgia. What is the name of the mountain on which we live? And hope somebody will call in and get the correct answer, because then you get to go to Bojangles and get a biscuit. This is O'Neill. We have more outdoors waiting for you when we return. I promise. This is O'Neill. 57 after the hour. We've got a couple of things to tidy up here before the first hour of the show is done. We have a question out there, and that is radio prize packages. Gail and I live on a mountain in North Georgia. Name it. And here is Joshua is calling from Griffin, Georgia. Good morning, Joshua.
Good morning, sir.
And what is the name of this little place where we live?
That would be Sassafras Mountain.
That's exactly right. and it was worth getting up this morning because you got quite a radio prize package, and give us a couple of weeks to put it all together for you, and I appreciate your participation in the program.
It's always worth getting up listening to you, sir. Thank
You're
you.
very kind. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the biscuits from Bojangles.
Absolutely, sure will.
Mighty fine. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You bet. Appreciate your participation. Now let's talk to, he's been holding on quite a while. Let's talk to Wade for a minute. Good morning, Wade.
Morning, O'Neill. How you doing, buddy?
Outstanding. Where are you today?
Well, actually, I landed in Bowling Green just long enough to regroup from St. Louis, and I'm headed down there right below you.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
Well, Hurricane Creek, watershed number 29, Lumpkin County.
I do. Yes, indeed.
Right down the road from you.
Yeah, there you go. Well, have a safe trip.
Did you get you got the hunting and fishing regulation in Kentucky, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
I got you something else coming, and I want you to, I've sent it today.
Okay.
So next week, I want you to let me know how long it took to get there, because I'm going to be mailing some Christmas gifts. People I don't see while I'm down, I'm going to be mailing stuff.
Okay. Well, you're very kind.
Let's see here. What I'm going to ask you about.
Okay.
Man, turkeys are going crazy up here. The deer are wide open.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm going to talk. We're not going to leave till after lunch. There's a place over there called Three Springs. They put trout in there in November and February and March, and they'll live till about April or May before the lakes warm up too much.
Mm-hmm.
We're might try that. But have you ever heard anything about Lake Cumberland, that Wolf Creek Dam that comes out below it?
No, I have not.
We got a Kentucky field show up here on Sundays, and Matt Bevins is the host. He's kind of like what you do there, but he's not on the radio. He's just on a TV show, and they've been catching some monster browns, brooks, and rainbows.
Wade, I got question to ask you, so I'm going to put you on hold and get to you after this. This is O'Neill, another hour of outdoors headed your way. Wade, you stay right there, pal.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. CVA muzzleloaders, it's just a better gun. Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. WORX Power and Garden Tools. Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Swaggerty Sausage, the finest premium pork sausage products. TUFF Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings.
Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait.
Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs for the outdoorsman. Terminator, the best food plot implements on Earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, state parks, and historic sites.
From Black Powder headquarters in the Bojangles studio from Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, O'Neill Outside presents CVA Radio. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome to O'Neill Outside Real Tree and CVA Radio. Every Saturday morning, 2 hours of outdoors, no politics. This is for you, for your family, for your friends to get together and enjoy the outdoors. It's much more interesting and longer lasting than any other sport. Fishing is the number one participatory sport among men in the world. So, anyway, we have calls waiting. I'm going to get to them, I promise, in a moment. But it's my pleasure to tell you that this program is brought to you by a whole host of wonderful sponsors. Snellville Heating and Air. And let me get to the list right here because I've always promise I'll do this. WORX Tools, Tough Shed, Striplings, Snellville Heating and Air, Rocco's Pub, CVA Muzzleloaders, Gin Spring Power, Swaggerty Sausage, and Mark Hurd Fuel. And it's 7 after the hour, and we'll have the Medal of Honor tribute. We'll have the WORX Axis Tool trivia question that I know you'll want to do because this WORX tool is a good one. And your calls at 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. Make plans now for 2021. Make your plans now for your fishing and hunting trips. It's funny how if you make a plan and commit to it, you do it. Spur-of-the-moment trips are nearly, as most of the time, as fun, as inclusive, and people get left out. Plan your trips. We've got a terrific season coming up this spring. We do every year. So make your plans now. So we've got Wade, and we all have all your other calls waiting. This is O'Neill, the number one live outdoor-based radio talk show in the country. WSB 95.5 and 750 AM covering the East Coast, and the Sports Map Radio Network all across the country. Listen in, and you'll enjoy, and I'll be back. 12 after the hour, we have a lot of calls this morning. We want to get to every single one of them. We've still got something left over with Wade here. Good morning, Wade. What do you say now? Wade.
Morning, Professor. How you doing, buddy?
Okay. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
That's why I held you over, and thank you for sticking around. All right. Do you hunt?
I'm going to be listening to you. Just don't hang up on me. Put me on hold so I hear you.
Okay. Well, that's just because I can't work the computer very well.
You asked me the question, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a question for you. Now, you hunt in Bowling Green, don't you? You hunt.
Yes, sir.
You hunt up there, and you hunt here in Georgia. What is the basic difference in the way that you hunt, if there is one?
Now you told me this a couple of years ago. This place was carved out by a glacier.
It's flat
more
up there.
than Georgia. Down there in Georgia, I hunt around the Lake Lanier Islands area, and in LJ, not far from you, there in Dawsonville.
Okay.
And you got more rolling foothills.
I see.
Up here, it's more flat. You got to be a little bit sneakier, and you got to position yourself. And the gun season don't last for no time, but they got a bow season forever. The rules are totally different. That's why I sent you those books, man. I can't cipher it out.
Well, you're
now you're down there. You can kill 12. Up here, you can't kill like 2.
Right. Well, there's more deer. But your strategy is different here because of the lay of the land.
Yes, sir. I agree with that 100%.
Lay of the land. All right, you hunt the property.
Now my buddy Michael. Yeah. See, like up there at Billy's that run that Hurricane Shoals Lake, it's rolling, and the lake's at the bottom, and the river's down here, and the creek comes in, and it's just. You got a plethora of the field. We got the corn planted out there in the field, and it goes down to the lake. That's where you kill them, in between the pines and the lake and the cornfield.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought.
And the thick stuff. Like Brother said, they in the thick stuff.
And I wanted to hear that from you for the benefit of my audience that hunts different places. The lay of the land. And
a lot of my friends have been coming up here.
Oh, they have? Okay, good. Well, I always appreciate your call, Wade. It's always good to see when we start the show that your name's up there, listening to the program, and you always make a contribution, and I appreciate it.
Well, sir, you asked a question earlier, and I'm going to tell you something because
Okay.
you're going to agree with me.
All right.
I'm going to Carabel, Florida, down there where Kyle, we remodeled 2 places down there, and I ain't well hooked yet.
Oh.
And so that's my trip this year. I'm going to get my nephew and Kyle and Gina and Leonard. We're going to go down there. We're going to catch some. We're going to cook some. We're going to eat some.
There you go. I like that. I like the plan. Catch, cook, and eat. I like the plan. Thanks for calling, Wade. There you go. And let's talk now to Hank the Yank is calling on O'Neill outside. Good morning.
Happy Hanukkah to all our members of the tribe.
Yes, indeed.
You doing okay this morning?
I'm doing okay, yeah. I slept for 3 hours last night. It was wonderful.
Well, let's see. Before I give you a fishing report,
Okay.
a quick fishing report. You ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Baseball nicknames. I got 2 in honor of Hanukkah today. One from your team and one from my team. Let's see how you make out.
Oh, boy.
Ready?
Ready.
Here we go. First from your team, the Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
Fred McGriff.
Okay, I've got that one. He's named for that cartoon dog. Crime Dog.
That's right.
Crime Dog, Fred McGriff.
That's it.
Okay.
I knew you. I told you I wasn't going to make it too easy.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was a good one.
All right, my beloved team, the Yankees.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Here's one from my beloved team from back in your day because he played before I played.
Oh, boy.
He played before I was born, so I didn't get to watch this guy. But I have a feeling you're going to get him. You ready?
Ready.
Phil Rizzuto.
Scooter.
Shortstop. That's right.
Scooter Rizzuto.
See? That's it.
And it's
That's
so funny.
Exactly right. He was the Yankees.
It's so funny, Hank, that these first, we'll call them the first era, or the old time players that played back in the 40s and 50s. I'm just guessing here, okay, and I hope nobody gets mad at me. A lot of those guys like him, okay, now probably wouldn't even make the team.
Yeah, that's very possible.
You know,
the athletes have come a long way from over the years.
Oh yeah, the athletes are much better. I mean, Phil Rizzuto, 5'7", 150 pounds. He's not going to make the major leagues now.
That's right.
I mean, the average shortstop's probably be at 6'2", about 205. So anyway,
yeah, it's true. These guys are. Anyway, that was. I knew you'd get both of them. I had counted on you getting both. I didn't want to make it too easy, but I kind of figured you'd get. But they were good ones, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, tell us about the fishing that's going on.
All right. Okay, so the fishing, the trout fishing here in North Georgia is really quite good right now, whether you're fishing the Chattahoochee River in Atlanta or if you're fishing the North Georgia Mountains. The North Georgia Mountains is fishing really well. The delayed harvest fishery is open in all 5 streams in North Georgia, and a lot of our pay-and-play streams, our managed streams, like the boys up at Unicoi Outfitters have told me that they are just having a fantastic late fall season right now on both rainbows and in a few of their streams that they get to play with. There's some good brown trout fishing as well. So the trout fishing in North Georgia is in full swing, but especially in those delayed harvest streams where you have to. Unfortunately, for someone like Wade, he couldn't fillet and release. He'd have to catch and release.
That's right. Okay.
So that's what's going on. As far as the striper fishing goes, Lake Lanier right now, it's just not. It's off. We're having an off year this fall, and this happens every few years. We're getting ready to come into what I would consider the best part of my season for fly fishing on Lanier, which usually happens right around Christmas through the end of January. But for we had a very good early fall, and the last 4 weeks I've been canceling trips because I just can't do my customers right. So instead, we're just going to hang out and we're going to read our book.
Okay.
And by the way, I want to mention the book is available for a great stocking stuffer.
Well, name
for
the book.
Anybody who's interested.
Name the book for everybody and where to get it.
Okay, the name of the book is called Fly Fishing for Freshwater Stripers. Okay. And it really covers the entire United States. Even though it was written here in our home waters on Lanier, we've covered striper and hybrid fishing throughout the United States, from California to Pennsylvania and everywhere in between. And the book is written not only for fly fishing, but there's so much information. There's very little, actually, on the fly fishing end of it. Of the 9 chapters, O'Neill, there's only a couple chapters on fly fishing. The rest is how to really locate and what tactics to use to find and catch stripers and hybrids. So if you're a conventional guy or you're a fly guy, there's something in this book for both for both anglers.
Okay, where can someone buy it? Hurry.
It's $16.95, and you can get it on Amazon, Books A Million, or Barnes and Noble, or locally here in Georgia. You can go to Hammond's Fishing Center, the Fish Hawk, Unicoi Outfitters, Alpharetta Outfitters, and Cohutta Fishing. They've all got plenty of copies of it.
Fantastic.
So I understand. It's close to being on the New York Times bestseller list.
It's close. It's close. You're the greatest. And the name of the book again is
Fly Fishing for Freshwater Striped Bass
by Henry Cowan.
By Hank the Yank.
Yeah, that's right.
By West Bank Hank.
All right, I gotta go, pal. Good luck on that. You're gonna do great. I gotta go.
Thanks,
this is
pal.
O'Neill.
Have a good weekend.
You bet. 21 and a half after the hour. Mac, Wayne, John, everybody hold on. I'll be back. 25 after the hour. Welcome back, everyone. We've got a lot of calls. We want to get to every single one of them if we can. First of all, let's talk to Wayne. And Wayne is calling from a little town called Rex. Good morning, Wayne.
I sure did appreciate that Christmas present from your wife the other day.
Oh, yeah?
That was a blessing.
Good.
And as far we talked about old memories and everything. Have you ever been to a place off the Pacific called Channel Island?
No, I have not. I've flown over them, that's all.
Oh, all right. Well, I went out there a couple of years, went out there deep sea fishing.
Uh-huh.
And, man, that was the most fun I've had in, I guess, forever.
Oh, boy.
And, I'd like to go back out there again sometimes, but I don't know that I ain't gonna fly no more, and I ain't gonna drive out there no more. That's a long drive.
What were you catching?
Oh, we caught sea bass, and that was when I caught that eel.
Yeah,
I caught that eel out there, but I won the jackpot both days. Say about 4 days out there.
Uh-huh.
I won the jackpot every day.
Good for you.
I made a lot of people mad because I won that jackpot.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I got a lot of memories we could talk about. You remember the little bulldog from the Atlanta Braves?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, I policed with him for a long time.
Uh-huh.
After he got out and after he quit playing for the Braves, they retired and he was a sheriff in DeKalb County.
I do indeed. That's right. That's a good memory.
We could talk about a lot.
Yeah.
You remember the Crackers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We used to go to the games.
I did too. I remember. I missed Ponce de Leon Park.
Oh yeah, I played in Ponce de Leon Park.
Did you? I never played there, but I had a lot of memories there.
I played for the Georgia Championship of high school in Ponce Park. Sure did.
Well, I had a classmate, he's in 59. I'm a couple of years older than you. A classmate of mine, he played in the Georgia Championship in 59, and he was on the Cardinals, and we were the Cardinals in Jonesboro, but he had a uniform furnished by St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, boy.
Because St. Louis was trying to sign him.
Oh,
but,
I see.
He played football. He didn't play, but he made All-State in 4 sports.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, what an athlete.
In high school. He was a heck of a ball player. Well, I don't want to hold you up, and I want to tell everybody Merry Christmas and be blessed.
You bet.
And, all right, thank you, O'Neill.
You bet. See you later, pal.
Bye.
Okay, there you go. Now let's talk to John, that's calling from New York. Good morning, John.
Yes, Merry Christmas from the Catskill Mountains.
You're coming in clear as a bell. How are you today, sir?
Yeah. Very good, thank you. O'Neill, I'm sure many of your listeners and Hank the Yank and all them could relate to this, that using technology is great, but learning the basics is the way to go.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's how they learn. Let me take you back to 1879. The nature writer John Burroughs that grew up here.
Okay.
He wrote a book, Locust and Wild Honey, and in it he had a chapter called Speckled Trout.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he wrote about trout fishing. But I early learned that from almost any stream in the trout country, the true angler could take trout, and the great secret was this, that whatever bait you used, worm, grasshopper, grub, or fly, there was one thing you must always put upon your hook, namely your heart.
Ah.
When you bait your hook with your heart, the fish always bite. They will jump clear from the water after it. They will dispute with each other over it. It is a morsel they love above everything else. With such bait, I've seen the born angler, my grandfather was one, take a noble string of trout from the most unpromising waters and on the most unpromising day. I think that's greatly written.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's quite poetic and quite true.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's quite true.
And again, like I said, I learned, things in the woods by the basic ways, but technology is good, and I use it. And
certainly.
Going back to the basics is always a great thing.
You betcha. And you learn the basics by going.
Yes.
And
repeatedly.
going often.
Yes.
Going and going often.
Donna mentioned, where would we be without Donna giving us the sources of all truths? I don't know any men that garnish any information from the hairdresser.
That's right. Yeah, the source of all wisdom, the hair salon.
Yeah. And I must mention, I have 3 nieces, and they all hunt. That's what, they're all married now and starting to rear young ones, so they don't do it as much, but they learn from their fathers.
Wonderful. That's quite a legacy. John, thanks for calling, sir. And be sure and chat with us. Be sure and chat with us next week also.
Okay.
You bet. See you soon, lad. And let's see who's up next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to Black for a minute. What do you say, Black? Are you there, Black?
Hey, O'Neill.
Hey, man.
Merry Christmas to you and Gail.
Well, thank you for calling, sir.
Hey, I had the answer to that question, but somebody got me.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to have to come up there to go fishing with you. I see that's what's going to have to be done.
Okay.
Because I met you way back yonder in Atlanta, Georgia. I kissed you on top of the head.
Okay.
I'm telling you, O'Neill, you're a mess.
Well, you got to have fun.
Hey, you're going to have to take me fishing now, I'm telling you.
I promise.
Oh, you've been promising me for years.
I know. I love making promises.
I tell you, I'm going to have to come up there. I know exactly where you live, too, my friend.
Uh-oh.
And, man, I'm going to bring my 40-44.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, I'll be cooperative that day.
I'm just kidding. Listen, I want the book.
I sent you the book.
I ain't got no book.
I sent 2 of them.
I have not got no book yet. I did get the first one. I'm sorry, but the second one hadn't got here. But listen, how much do I owe you?
I don't know.
Well, listen. I get the book, and I want another hat and whatever. But anyway, I think I got your address. I'm gonna send you a check for both books.
Okay. Send me $1,000.
No, I'm gonna send you 2,000.
Okay.
I got the money, honey. If you got the time.
You got it, and you.
Hey, listen.
Yes.
Tell old Milton I got him beat.
What's that?
About the hunting.
Oh.
I've been hunting since I was 16.
Oh my goodness.
And I'll be 82 my birthday.
Wow. Well, you and I. Excuse me.
Hey, we hunted squirrels, rabbits, coons, possums.
Oh yeah, everything.
I've eaten possums, coons, well, you name it. Went turtle gigging. You ever been turtle gigging?
Yes.
When?
Oh God, when I was really young.
That's some good stuff if you know how to fix it.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you go, O'Neill.
Okay.
When I get the book, I'm not gonna send you no $2,000 though.
Well, I'll expect it.
I know. God bless you and Merry Christmas, you and your family.
You bet.
How's Travis doing?
He's doing great.
Is he going to get to come home or not?
Yeah, he hunts every day. No, he's not coming home.
Oh, Lord. Okay, Brother O'Neill, have a great one. Love you.
You bet. See you soon, pal. All right, now let's try Abby. Is it Abby?
Abby J.
Hey, lady.
From Black Hawk. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, my favorite mountain trout stream in all the world. Black Hawk fly fishing
baby,
on the Soquee.
Let me tell you something, O'Neill. Baby, it's cold outside, but my fish are loving it.
Oh, I'll bet.
We have been so blessed by so many newcomers on the stream. With COVID, people are really looking outside to do things, and we have so many beginners, and we have a setup to where they can come in and we can outfit them, and they can learn how to fish, how to fly fish.
Let me comment about that, Abby. Now, when you guys go, if you don't have to be a seasoned trout fisherman to go to Black Hawk Fly Fishing in Clarksville, Georgia, and fish the Soquee River. You make arrangements, and when you go see Abby there at Black Hawk, she has the waders, the rods, the reels, the guides, the stream, the trout, and lunch.
And lunch, absolutely. I love to feed my fishermen, and like I said, it's been just I just want to say thank you to everyone that's had the opportunity this season to come fish with us. And we are open year-round, O'Neill. Mm-hmm. So, and if you are looking for gift certificates or something to give to someone special, we certainly have those, and they have up to a year to use those.
Oh, boy, that's a good idea.
Right. Well, we were only closed 2 weeks this summer in July because it rained every day. The weather even held out for us because normally we're closed in the hot summer months, but this summer we were open, and it's just been awesome.
All right, tell me before I run out of time, give me a web address so people can be in touch with you and solicit from you a gift certificate or coupon of some kind.
Okay, thank you, O'Neill. And it's www.blackhawkflyfishing.com, and you can call me directly at 706-947-FISH. That's 3474. We wish you a Merry Christmas, and it's never too cold to fish.
You betcha. Thanks for calling, Abby. I'll see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye. This is O'Neill. We got more outdoors headed your way. 40 after this, you're listening to O'Neill Outside. And before I get away from the subject of Black Hawk fly fishing and the Soquee River, I want to set a reference for you. I've probably been there a dozen times. The average catch for rainbows before lunch, unless you're a real dodo bird and you have a guide with you, you'll catch 20 rainbows over 18 inches and an occasional brown in the territory of 28 inches. So that very well may be the best mountain trout stream in the United States. Okay, on another subject, now let's talk to Paul. He's been holding on quite a while. Good morning, Paul. You're on O'Neill Outside. Welcome.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Lovely.
Good. I wanted to know how you were coming with getting that audio book going for us.
Oh, gosh. I keep promising, Paul, and one day I will.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
Now.
And I'm going to hold myself to it. I'm going to read the book myself. I guess we should probably proceed on that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it before the end of the year.
Okay, perfect.
I'm going to do it before the end of the year.
Now,
because we've got a couple of Saturdays off for Christmas and New Year's, and so I'm going to do the book. I promise.
Sounds good. I look forward to it.
Okay.
I was sitting here thinking about another interesting childhood memory, and I had to share this with you. I just couldn't leave this alone. You know how I am. I kind of pulled this one off when I was about 9 years old and had a little help from my uncle on it. Well, he started it, and I finished it. All right. Having said that, my uncle at the time worked for a subcontractor of Georgia Power. And he brought one of the bucket trucks home one night, about a 75-foot bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Mom was about, if I remember correctly, about 4'11" or so, and just terrified, to say the least, of high places.
Okay.
He dared her to get into that bucket, and she wouldn't do it. And I just kind of turned and looked in her direction. I said, Mom, I'm going, and you're going with me. Okay. That said, the three of us got into that bucket. He started that bucket up. Mom sat down in the bottom of the bucket. We got it all the way up to the top. And he told her, he said, the bucket's not coming down until you look out over these pine trees. So she stood up to look out over the pine trees, and right about the time she did that, I reached over my head and put my hand on the bottom of the street light.
Yeah.
And when I did that, wasn't too long after that, he started that bucket back down. I don't think my mom had ever been so glad to see the ground in her life.
Acrophobic, huh? How about that? What a terrific
I had to
memory.
share that with you. I was thinking about I'm starting to run out of these childhood stories because, you and I have been talking since August.
Yes.
And I'm starting to run out of these stories.
I'm sure that you'll come up with plenty.
I'm hoping I do, because let me tell you, it's a struggle to come up with one every week, and I've really had to stretch to find that one. I'm afraid I'm going to start repeating some of the ones you've already heard in the not too distant future at the rate things are going.
Well, that's okay, because excuse me, because I can assure you, after 40 years on television and 28 years on radio, I've repeated the same story dozens of times.
I can only imagine.
Dozens of times, absolutely. Paul, I'm glad you called.
All right.
I always enjoyed seeing your name come up there on the screen. Okay, here's the WORX Axis Tools Power Saw question, trivia question. Okay? First correct caller to 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This is for the WORX Tools Power Saw question. The question is, in what state and lake was the world record largemouth bass caught? I want to know the state and the lake. So, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. You guys wrestle with that. I wonder if it might be appropriate, Corey, if you could come up with the MOH with the Medal of Honor, and I'll get to that right now if you can come up with the intro, and I'll give it a try.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
Charles Abril, Corporal, Korean War, 1st Marine Division. Medal of Honor action date was June the 10th, 1951 in Korea. While advancing with his platoon in an attack against a well-concealed and heavily fortified enemy hill position, Charles voluntarily rushed forward through the assaulting squad, which was pinned down by a hail of intense automatic weapons fire from a bunker. Although already wounded by enemy hand grenade fragments, he proceeded to carry out a bold, single-handed attack against the bunker, urging his comrades to follow him. Sustaining 2 more additional wounds as he stormed toward the bunker, he pulled the pin from a grenade clutched in his hand and hurled himself into the bunker with it still in his grasp. Charles was fatally wounded in the resulting explosion, but it killed the entire enemy gun crew within the stronghold. By his valiant spirit of self-sacrifice in the face of certain death, He served to inspire all of his comrades and contributed directly to the success of his platoon in attaining its objectives. His superb courage and heroic initiative sustain and enhance the highest traditions of the U.S. Naval Service. He gallantly gave his life for his country. Corporal Abel was born in Terre Haute, Indiana, and he was 20 years old when he died. 47 after the hour, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. And we don't get a great number of calls after the Medal of Honor. It kind of sets the stage. But we've got time this and certainly the inclination to talk to Tim in Loganville. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, O'Neill.
Hey.
Just on the other side of you from Snellville. I guess you're still in Snellville.
Well, no, we've moved up here to the mountains about 6 years ago. But I did live in Snellville. Gail and I lived in Snellville for 35 years.
Well, good for you. I should have gone with you.
Yeah, good.
Hey, headed to Sydney and Lanier today.
Okay.
I want to see give me if you got a report on it.
Well, it's the bass, the spots, and the largemouth are both deep into the trees, offshore, on the old creek bed breaks, on the long points that are covered with stumps and small timber. They're deep. If you're throwing to the bank, the fish are behind you.
Okay. Has it completely turned over, or do you know?
Oh yes, absolutely. With the cold temperatures we've had lately, it is December. You are correct. It is December before the turnover is completed, and that turnover is complete now. It won't get any more so.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Well, you sound like you're a veteran of Lake Lanier. Are you?
No, I am not. I am not. I'm more Oconee and Hartwell, but thought I'd go catch a few spots if we can.
Okay, you certainly can. And I would, by general rule, I would tell you from Oconee or Sinclair or those lakes, the fish are going to be twice as deep at Lanier because the water is super cold and super clear.
Tenfold.
Well, you know, when the lake backed up, it was the trees were topped out at the elevation level of 1040. Then the lake was filled up to 1070. So even though a great number of those have already gone and deteriorated, there still is a remnant of a forest under the Lake Lanier below 30 feet.
Below 30 feet.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. That's good to know.
You bet. Good luck to you today.
Thank you. Enjoy your show.
You bet. You bet. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Okay. 404-872. It's 50 minutes after the hour. And, boy, this has been a nice show today. We had some great callers today from trout fishing, striper fishing, largemouth and spotted bass, and some terrific stories and recommendations about for deer hunting, for scent control and wind direction, and whether you sit in a stand and whether you sit on the ground. It's just been marvelous. So
all right, your winner's on line 3.
Okay, there's the winner right there. The question was for the Axis tool from WORX, and that is, in what state and lake was the world's record largemouth bass caught? And we're talking to JP from Marietta. JP, what do you say?
Hey, good morning, O'Neill. It was caught in the great state, the Peach State of Georgia.
Yes.
In 1932.
Yes.
In Montgomery Lake by George Perry.
Okay, how big was it?
South Georgia.
How big was it?
22 pounds, 4 ounces.
How about that? And it's lasted all this time. Do you know what? And your answers are correct, and you give us a little, a week or so to get the tool. I'll put you back on hold or whatever, and I can send the Axis tool to you. Do you remember where that lake is now?
I've heard that it's kind of like filled in, and it's down kind of in a real swampy area, way down in South Georgia. But I've never been and never. I fish Yoki-Fidoki for bass, but I've never. Can't tell you exactly where it is, sir.
Okay, well, you're close. It was along the Okmulgee River. This is just interesting. It was along the Okmulgee River, and it was an oxbow lake, and you know what that is. And,
yes, sir. They're like along the Mississippi River.
It's an oxbow. It used to be a part of the river, but the river bypassed it, so it remained a lake, and that's where George Perry fished. And it's interesting because as famous as that lake is, it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh my gosh!
The river took it back over.
Wow, well, it's funny. I was looking at my 10.5-pound largemouth on the wall yesterday, and I've been fishing for bass all my life, 55 years, and mine's only 10.5, and he got one over twice as big as mine.
I can assure you, I got to go, but I can assure you a 10.5-pound largemouth is a giant, and you can be proud of it. And I got to go, pal.
Thank you.
You bet.
Merry
See you
Christmas.
later. I'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, indeed. Coordination between radio and television of some kind can be a little snaky, but welcome back. It's 57 after the hour. We've had 2 hours of a really terrific set of contributions to the show this morning. Think about it. Deer hunting, recommendations for hunting after the deer season, trout fishing, striper fishing, bass fishing, even the small game seasons, and recommendations from Milton about being sure that you complete the hunt. That being that you dress the game, you age the game, and you serve the game. That is the completion of the hunt, not just pulling the trigger. I'm here to tell you that the hunting season doesn't end January the 10th with the final day of deer season. No matter what state you're in, of course, Alabama goes into February for a long, long reason, and we won't get into that. Maybe we will again one day because it is interesting. But quail season begins soon. Squirrel season still exists. And make memories in the outdoors. They last forever. And that's one of the reasons that we started this program. Oh, my goodness. 28 years ago. And the reasons still hold firm. We will be on the air. Oh, let me invite you to, those of you who are still listening this early, on Monday afternoons or evenings at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, O'Neill and Gail are live on Facebook. Live on Facebook, 6:30 p.m. Monday afternoons. And it's fun. And we get to visit with you and talk more outdoors. Just can't quite get enough of that. So, thank you for listening to O'Neill Outside. Those of you who watch the program throughout the week, I thank you for your presence and your support. So this is O'Neill with CVA and Realtree Radio. And keep this in mind. If you're too busy to go fishing and take a child along, you're too busy. I'll see you guys next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill.